big day. Two big things last night. Numi returning to his roots, MLB contest, taking down that $1,500 score, golf claps, F's in the chat, or some shit like that for him. Incredible stuff. Dude keeps just winning and winning and winning. You love to see it. Nez made a debut, I guess re-debut on Ship Chasing. Plug the bros over there. You love to see it. And now today we got slates on slates. We got every sport rolling. This is going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to hone in. We're going to focus on my favorite style contest, that two game Thursday nighter, Thursday plus Sunday. And who better to ask questions about that than the man who writes the article for SpikeWeek on said contest. We got Take a Kid to Work Day, normally in the chat. Now we're going to bring him behind the curtain. We're going to bring him in here. Silas Jackson's with us. Oh, and I got to say, because he's not in the chat today, I have to say it. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. But let's bring in Silas. What's good, my friend?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, I was going to start my intro by saying like and subscribe, but you clearly just rugged me. So
We always appreciate that. We always appreciate that. It was a long time coming, man. I'm glad we got this. This is going to be fun to talk about because we get to talk about the Steelers. So that's always fun.
Yeah, basically, don't draft any Steelers tonight. You'll win $12,000. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you love it. Yeah, so for those who don't know, and we got to keep reiterating, we've said it many a time on the show, we've said it in the chat many times, Silas writes the Monday nights and Thursday nights for the now what used to be a showdown contest, which is now these 2-game slates, and he writes them up on SpikeWeek, and it's a mandatory read before you dive into the draft of these slates. Like, just get you a good feel of the land, and then we'll go from there kind of deal. So now, because you're on the show, I didn't have to read today, which I'm super happy about. So now I just get to hear it straight from you. Let's just dive straight into that game. Let's start with the Thursday one. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, I mean, one of the main things to kind of take in consideration for this slate was injuries. You had all 3 Saints wide receivers miss last week. Olave plans to play from the concussion, but you have MT and Landry out already. On top of that, James Conner's a game time decision. Tua is kind of expected to play, but that concussion was pretty bad a couple weeks ago. And then I know Pickett also was in concussion protocol, but he seems to have cleared as well. So, main thing was kind of navigating those injuries and kind of making sure that you were aware of who would be kind of replacing them in those scenarios.
Yeah, I like that a lot. One thing that I want to harp on between those are the Connors Eno debate right now. Because when we were drafting earlier this week for this being the second game of the contest, that would have been Thursday contest. When we were drafting that, we were pretty firmly, or at least I was, taking the stance of we'll take Connor and we'll swap to Eno. I'm not so sure that's going to happen now. I think there's a very clear path to both these players being active tonight and then splitting duties, which is probably worst case scenario for us. So I don't know what you guys, I want to get everybody's thoughts here. Where are we leaning in the Eno versus Connor tonight?
Eno feels better to click, right? I mean, that's to me feels better. However, if Connor's active, you're gonna and you're doing multiple lineups, you're gonna want to have some James Conner just because he always has that touchdown chance, but he is like touchdown or bust. Whereas I think Eno has a safer floor in that, where I think he can be more productive with his work. Whereas James Conner, if he's active and he's likely splitting duties, I mean, what's his ceiling? Like 12 points, right. unless he scores twice. So it's going to be it's tough, but for my money, I would rather have Eno regardless of Connor's status. What are you thinking, Shane?
Yeah, if I had to do it, I think I have like a Connor. Otherwise, I've been staying away from that. I've been kind of targeting more of just the pass catchers on that, and I've been just focusing on getting Kamara, Mostert, and then honestly, I know it's disgusting, but Najee's there a
Najee,
lot of
baby.
the time
Let's
late.
go.
And it's like in these contests, I think we talk about the floor a lot. And it's like if he's going to be there in, I'm thinking the 4th round, sometimes maybe the 5th, maybe I'm just trying to think what rounds he is. I just did a bunch this morning. Like I still think that's, are you saying 4th or 3rd?
No, he goes in the 3rd.
Third?
Usually.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, still that's late. I mean, they're only 3-man drafts, but that's nice to be able to scoop them up and just take that after, especially if you went wide out heavy. Which if you don't get Kamara, I like to go that. But yeah, I've just kind of been staying away. And if I have done it, it's just I've gone James Conner and then just basically assumed if he's playing, he's going to get a majority of the work. Otherwise, why would you play him on Thursday night? And then if he doesn't, then I'll just swap to Eno, who I've made sure when I got Connor hasn't gone in the draft. So
yeah, that's smart.
Kind of doing the same thing. Sorry, John.
Yeah. No, go. Please.
I was gonna say,
your thoughts.
I've been prioritizing Connor just because, I mean, they use him in that 3-down back load. I mean, Eno was not efficient last week. So who's to say he continues to get that workload, even if both are healthy. And then, I really don't hate like the lower owned options in like Mark Ingram or even Jalen Warren, who we've seen has gotten the pass game work. We kind of expect Pittsburgh to get blown out in this game if Tua is healthy. So, Warren might actually see an extended run, be low owned. It's a quick, easy swap option.
Yeah, I like that shout because I was thinking about the Cardinals backfield in that same capacity as the Eno's kind of going to be the trailing guy there, but as favorites in this game, though, granted, they're only like 2-point favorites, 1.5, depending where you look, 2.5. But you're effectively just looking for touchdowns from Connor. I think best case scenario for these contests is Connor sits and we just get Eno full run and Eno gets drafted as the 3rd or 4th running back off the board in these rooms. I think that's probably best case scenario for us. But I was thinking about it in the same capacity as like that Steelers backfield. If we paint an Arizona trailing script or we paint a Steelers trailing script in those 2 ball games, we can get away with Warren or we can get away with Eno as like our single back in like, 1-1-3-1 builds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think we just got to tell ourselves a narrative with those builds when we go about it. Right.
Those are definitely my favorite to build right now. Just with like the plethora of pass catching options that are seemingly available. I'm sure like half, maybe less, will come to fruition. But like Silas said, with the Steelers being 7-point dogs, Tua coming back, Steelers defense being ass, it's probably going to end up being Steelers a negative game script. They need to catch up, and I am excited to see that. We haven't necessarily seen them in it. Well, we did with the Bills, but that's the Bills. But let's see them with Miami, who maybe they have a better shot of actually like playing some catch up and giving us an exciting high scoring game, which I think this can be. So that the Steelers pass catchers to me are really intriguing, and they're all available. So
yeah.
Yeah, this game's a lot more exciting with Kenny Pickett than Mitch Trubisky. So
Absolutely.
and with like the going from Mitch Trubisky and I guess what a Teddy Bridgewater, Skylar Thompson, now to Kenny Pickett and Tua's back. Like now it's like, okay, that's not that bad of a game. Like it's pretty nice. So
yeah, and it's actually pretty easy to stack. Like I have so many Tyreek Waddle stacks. Like I did not expect to be able to do that.
Likewise,
and then you can easily get Pittsburgh bringbacks. You have Claypool, you have Pickens going literally in like the last round, which
Yep. And I think that's in part too because what you put in your article and you touched on is like the new wrinkles. Like this is now a 3-man draft. So like right, yeah, it's a 3-man draft size instead of 4. So it gives you a lot. Like you can stack these guys and get combos that you normally wouldn't in these 4-man. So
yeah.
That's something that's a lot different in this contest because I'm pretty sure the Monday night, Thursday night was 4, wasn't it? Was it 4?
No, it was 3. This is the second time it's been 3.
Okay.
The Sunday, Monday.
Sunday, Monday.
Sunday, Monday was 4, and then they swapped it from Monday.
Gotcha. So it was recent that we just had 4. Gotcha.
Yeah, I like 3. I think 3 is a good size.
Sorry. What I wanted to ask all of you guys about 3 is how does it change your guys' approach to quarterback? Because quarterbacks were getting thrust up the board heavily in the 4s because you didn't want to be the guy that got hung out to dry. And you either had a wrong correlation or you had the worst one in the room or whatever. How have you guys been attacking quarterback now that it's 3? Because I think that's the most interesting debate at the top of the board.
Yeah, Silas, go ahead.
It truly depends on the slate, I would say. If there was a Jalen Hurts or, you have Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, like you're obviously going to want those because their ceiling is just so unmatched with anybody. Whereas I know Kyler has a pretty strong floor because of his rushing upside. I don't see him like being the far and away best quarterback on the slate. Like Tua can easily match him just through the ground or through the air. And then we've seen Pickett run. We've seen him throw. Like not that he's great, but they do have those ceiling games. So for me personally, I'm prioritizing the skill position players. But again, it depends on who's readily available. I'll say it's looking like Jameis won't play, but I was mixing in Jameis pretty heavily just because we've seen those ceiling games from Jameis. If they air it out and that game becomes a shootout, there's a very easy chance Jameis outscores Kyler because he throws for 500 yards.
Right. I'm loving right now the fact that we don't have ADPs in this contest and that it's just projections and Kyler's sitting at the top for everybody because that to me right now is like almost like a hard fade. Like I'm not getting to him because I'm not like he's going before I feel comfortable taking him. Like you said, I'm prioritizing the skill position guys, mainly like Tyreek Hill, mixing a little bit of Kamara. Usually I'm taking Hill over Kamara. And then if Tua comes back to me, like I will sometimes reach to stack Tyreek, but otherwise like I just wait. I just wait on QB and it's usually Pickett for your boy, but
what a shock.
But yeah, I mean, for me, it's like it just makes so much sense to wait. Everybody seems like they have like a very similar range of outcomes in these games.
Yeah, I agree with now Tua and Pickett like gonna play. That it makes it so like it's evened out versus and Silas wrote that in the article too. But yeah, I agree. It's Kamara, Hill, and then honestly Waddle, and otherwise, yeah, I'm waiting on quarterback. So,
yeah, I kind of like where you guys' heads are at right now. For me, I've been going like this. I think that's kind of been my approach so far. I do kind of really like Olave tonight, kind of as the only guy there, narrative. Right. But I do really hope we get Dalton again because I think Kamara is by far and away the best play on this slate. We know Tyreek can break a slate at any given time, but on a personal level, I think Kamara is the best play on the slate, and I think you can get him draft slots 1 through 3, depending on what other people do. So when Kamara's there, I just click his name every single time because we've seen that return of the target floor. Since Dalton's been in there, his most heavily targeted player is Kamara, and it's back to the good old days, right? Like, yeah, that's what we signed up for. It's kind of like what we've been saying about Lenny throughout is our narrative is he's pass catcher. Well, our narrative with Kamara was always 11 carries and 9 targets, right? Like that's what we were looking for, and it's back if Dalton's there. So I've been really hammering that Kamara train so far in these drafts.
I've seen Waddle. I don't know if you guys have noticed it too, like fall really far in like a couple of these lobbies.
The Q tag's scaring a lot of people. Yeah.
Like I've seen him go like Mr. Irrelevant in like the draft I did just before I came on stream. Like it was wild.
Wow, that is wild.
I've never seen that because I'm scooping him up if he's there in the second.
That's what I was doing. And then I was like, maybe I'll pump the brakes. And I'm like, yeah, like what are we doing? Like the Steelers defense is not. I don't know. Maybe people are spooked from like the Buccaneers game. I don't. It's probably just one of those fluke lobbies. Like that's what I'm attributing it to. But I do know that like I'm way more higher on him than the people I've been drafting with at least.
Yeah. Well, didn't McDaniel say that, like they're hopeful he'll play, which is probably scary. Like I don't believe the
you don't want to yeah.
Good. He's practicing in a limited fashion, so like he'll probably end up playing, but it's got to be the McDaniel quote saying like, yeah, we don't really know. And to John's point, in terms of Olave, the one thing I get scared about with Olave is the Cardinals are a total tight end pass funnel. They have a really good secondary with both Byron Murphy and can't think of the other guy. But
we saw Byron Murphy on DK last week, right? And
yes,
basically took that away.
So, I mean, there's an entire chance that they just literally put someone over the top on Olave. They limit the big playability, and then, it kind of pushes them towards using either Marquez Callaway over the middle or Juwan Johnson kind of everywhere.
That's fun that you just naturally brought up those two names because there were two of three names that I wanted to go to next. I wanted to go here to Taysom. I wanted to go to Juwan Johnson, and then I wanted to go to Marquez Callaway, who has been Dalton's second most high at it. Where did I miss him? Obviously,
he's under Taysom, I think.
Right under Pat. Yeah. Right in front of my face. Yeah, and he's been Dalton's second most targeted wide receiver since coming in, and he's done nothing with it. But it's just interesting of note that the volume is potentially there. We're looking at a guy who's playing 65% of snaps, and he's going undrafted largely. I've seen him go a handful of times so far. Where are you coming out on him, Silas, or this kind of grouping as a whole?
The wider, like the skill position player pool seems deep enough where I really haven't found myself clicking Marquez Callaway. If I was going to pick a Saints wide receiver, I would actually probably go to Traquan Smith just because he's a big body. And if they get in the red zone, he might just throw it up to him. Callaway does have a decent amount of air yards, but I just don't trust that Dalton's going to push the ball downfield. So you're going to primarily see him targeting Alvin Kamara, and just I'm not going to want those 6-7 yard dump offs to Callaway. Like, he's not going to break one deep. And then in terms of the tight ends, I personally have been kind of so Taysom's kind of getting drafted as like the second tight end off the board just because he offers that quarterback / wildcat quarterback upside. But he's really not playing. I mean, he played 9 offensive snaps last week. He played 30% of snaps, and with both Jameis and Dalton healthy, like, it seems like they're probably going to limit his usage. So I've mixed in a little bit of Juwan just because he's going to be actually catching passes, and I don't think Taysom will. But it's kind of like a stay away for me.
Interesting. Okay, that's cool because that's an interesting little nugget there because I've actually seen Taysom go as tight end 1 a few times on this slate. So if we're implementing a fade on Taysom there, I don't know. He's just like he's the perennial wild card in these contests, right? It's crazy. It's just like we don't know. I made the whatever narrative or debate that his usage last week was actually more encouraging, even though he did less in terms of like production and snaps because he threw the ball 4 times. And I was like, well, that's what we were always signing up for, is quarterback playing tight end. Numi, Nez, where do you guys come out on this kind of back end tight end, in particular Taysom debate?
Nez,
I've been waiting mostly. Like, if like Ertz was a little intriguing to me, but to me, like, a lot of these guys, similar to quarterback, have, in my view, a pretty similar range of outcomes outside of Taysom, who can, we can go nuclear. But I like Freiermuth this week too, just because he doesn't seem like he's getting picked a lot. I think people are like scared because of the concussion or something, but it does seem like he's going to play. So I'm pretty excited about getting him like late, just because, like I said, I do think that the Steelers are going to be a negative game script, and yeah, he should be a viable option there, but I'm not prioritizing any of them really. Like, I'm just like kind of letting them come to me and just going and looking for the skill position guys that I want to build around.
Okay. Numi, where do you come out, man?
Yeah. I've been basically my first, it seems all like first 4 picks are going to be like skill position, including the running back. And then it's just like, I've been like, whatever quarterback and, tight end I can luck box into. A lot of my rooms, I'm the first one to grab a tight end in the 5th round. So I'll just grab Zach Ertz, and I'm like, I'll take that. That's beautiful. And it's like, I mean, I don't really, with all of the skill position pass catchers, like, you're, like Silas said, you're just backdooring into so many different stacks. Like, and with only 3 draft slots, so you don't have to like go all the way on quarterback. Like, you can pick your stack basically at the end of draft. So that's how I've been approaching it. I haven't really been there isn't, the top tight end to go after. Same thing with the quarterback. So I've just been prioritizing skill positions and then whatever tight end I can get there. I will say I do like Pat. I know I just saw a quote on Twitter like 20-ish minutes ago where Matt Canada said Kenny Pickett looks good to go. Same for Pat Fryermuth. So like that's encouraging. So like very encouraging. So yeah, I like Pat there. After reading Silas's article, I've been mixed in a little Jawan at the end, just specifically because of the pass funnel. And I was in these previous contests like Team Taysom Hill because of where he was going, free. But now that he's, moved up and it's a, different price in a different contest, it's kind of like, yeah, I haven't been getting as much as him. So yeah, that's kind of how I stand on tight end.
Silas, and you kind of gave the opinion that you're kind of off Taysom here. Does that mean you're pushing up Ertz on your board, or are you pushing up someone else?
No, I mean, I'm kind of letting the room fall. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not taking Taysom. Like, I'm taking him if he's there late, but I'm not mixing. Like, I've seen him go in the second round. Like, and that's just never going to happen for me. Just because we can literally see him score 0 points.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
But I think it's a little understated. Like, Zach Ertz is going to give you like 7 to 8 targets like every week. And that floor, especially on such a gross tight end kind of slate, could be the difference maker for you. So I'm not prioritizing him in, but like after I get 2 wide receivers or like Kamara and a stud wide receiver, like I'm starting to look at Ertz to make sure he's still available.
Yeah, that's kind of where my mind's been going too, because I don't think there's another tight end on the slate who's going to play 90% of snaps, and the rest of the pass core around him is depleted, and they're playing against a pass funnel. So it's kind of like the stars are aligning in my mind for Ertz there, and I kind of like Ertz in some regard better than Hopkins as a play, and that being kind of my Kyler mini stack if I can get Ertz in the third kind of deal. So I do really like the Kyler plus Kamara start if it ever exists. It's very rare, but if you get it at that 3 turn and then going with Ertz with that and then building out the pass catchers late, that's kind of my only exception to taking pass catchers early. Do you guys see any merit in that, or do you think I'm a complete idiot fish?
No, I like Ertz, man. I do like it. Like I like Ertz like every week. He's really one of my favorites. But this week I'm like kind of like pumping the brakes a little bit just because of the other options that we have, and like I'm just trying to be like realistic about everybody's range of outcomes here. But usually, like I love Ertz as just like there's like 10 points. Like I'll just like try to win elsewhere.
Yeah, I yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. I don't know. It's weird. Dog's about it too.
Yeah.
Can you hear him back there?
Yeah.
Howling his ass off. Jesus Christ.
Silas, you brought up some other names in the article here. Let's talk about like some deeper dive potential targets that, we can be plucking off in the 6th round that could find a way home here.
So one would be Greg Dortch. Obviously, we know Marquise Brown is out. They just traded for Robbie Anderson, who's not on the slate, who's going to be very limited. You would expect that you probably see AJ Green kind of get an uptick in snaps, which is probably, I think, based on projection where people will pick. But we've seen Dortch get like 10 targets a week. So if he's over the middle, like could potentially play him. We already talked about Callaway. Claypool's going in the literal last round. I believe he has 20 targets the last 2 weeks.
He's coming off his biggest game of the year too.
Obviously, that was more of a play if Trubisky plays. But he is a big-bodied receiver, could easily catch a touchdown. And then just very low-key, Trent Sherfield. Clear number 3 for the Dolphins. They expect to throw a lot. We've seen him kind of have some long touchdowns. He's kind of like the Quez Watkins play that I keep touting that's never actually hit. But one of these weeks, someone is going to have a 1-2% owned guy like that that scores a touchdown.
Man, everybody clowned that Cedric Wilson signing when it happened, and it was kind of like, why are they giving him so much money? He plays the same position as Waddle, blah, blah, blah. And now, 5 weeks in, 6 weeks in, they're just running Trent Sherfield over him over and over again. Like, Cedric Wilson's snaps went from, I think he sat one game, but it was like 12%, 0, which was, I think, the healthy inactive, or maybe he was banged up. And then it was 24%, 19%. And Trent's just out here 63, 63, 66, 67, right? So, I mean, there's definitely viability there, especially I'm viewing him more as my swap off Waddle if Waddle cannot go. But I think there's a point of leverage there if we can draft him now and then Waddle goes, and you kind of get the inverse of the Eno and Connor that we're talking about there, where you're the only guy with Sherfield now, right?
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm playing it. And to go on Cedric really hurts because the man could play. Like he was actually pretty good on the Cowboys. They definitely paid him too much money. I think it was 3 for 24, so $8 million each. But it just, I don't know why he's getting buried on the depth chart over Trent Sherfield, who's literally on his like 4th team.
Yeah, right. He's been that rental WR5 for like borderline contending teams for years now. Newbie, what are you liking? Any names popping out to you that we haven't discussed yet or deeper in the board?
Yeah, I mean that Greg Dortch call I like a lot with no Hollywood. I mean, Ertz can soak up more of that, but I for the same reason on the AJ Green call, it's like I think more people might gravitate there if they do, and I think Dortch will just go completely overlooked. So that's been my guy. If I do do a late one, but now that I'm looking into it, like the Traquan call, I like that as well. But yeah, Dortch has been my couple picks so far of a late round dart. So
I like that. There's a narrative here where we're just treating Hopkins like, I know it's not an injury thing and it's PD and whatever. He comes back and we're just treating him like he's going to be 99% of snaps. He's just going to play the X. It's going to be like old school Hopkins. And we talked about how Hopkins hasn't even had a 100-yard game since 2020 or whatever it was. We went back there. He didn't have one all of last year. He had one in I think it was week 14 of 2020 or whatever. And we're just kind of treating him as if he's going to be like this alpha guy who just comes back and balls out. There's a chance that him and AJ Green rotate that kind of like outside spot because they're basically the same player now. I mean, Hopkins obviously a bit younger, a bit better, right? But they're basically the same archetype of player. And Dortch just comes right in here and just slides into that Marquise Brown, and then Ertz never leaves the field and Rondell just kind of does his thing in the slot. There's definitely a path to that happening tonight. And I think the majority of the field's overlooking that and overvaluing kind of what DeAndre could do. Now, I'm not writing off the fact that DeAndre could go 6 for 80 and 2 touchdowns. Like it's definitely within the range of outcomes, but just another narrative that we could possibly paint there. Mm-hmm. Nez, anything to add? Oh, sorry.
There was a report that D-Hop, like there was a concern that he would be limited in his playing time. They did come out with a report saying he's going to be a full go. Okay. And I would say to last year, he did look dust, but I believe he was nursing a foot injury all year. PEDs probably helped that. So,
yeah. There you go.
You could see the old D-Hop.
Yeah. Go to Germany and get that special HGH magic sauce injection. Come back and things are good.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add there. I just I have trouble getting cute, and I know I need to because I mean I'm on the same guys that the entire field is on, and these conversations are kind of helping getting some gears turning before tonight strikes. But yeah, it's really hard for me to get cute when I just see the potential volume that can come from the Steelers pass catchers. I'm just like give me all of them.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really debate that, I kind of feel the same way.
Yeah, but that's just my mind, I'm just such a safe little mindset, just give me my projectable targets, please. I did my little blanket, oh nice, I won $20 this slate, live to fight another day.
Stays around for more Josh Jacobs shares this weekend. Let's go.
That's right.
We haven't really talked deep at the running back position. We mentioned the names of Warren and Mark Ingram and stuff. We talked about the Eno Connor kind of thing. We haven't talked about Chase Edmonds at all and him versus Mostert and whatever. I think we've kind of seen a clear takeover of that backfield and the majority of the early down work going Mostert's way. We did see Chase have that one game where he did get into the end zone twice, but on very limited duties. Do you think there's any merit to drafting Chase tonight?
I would only say if you flip the script. So Dolphins are 7-point favorites, and you see the Steelers come out and score, 21 straight unanswered points. Chase might be used in more of that hurry up offense, whereas I think Mostert's more of that off tackle type guy.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that's kind of the only way we can get there. It's been really gross. Like he has not had more than 7 touches since week 1.
Yeah, dude, it's tough. Like very script dependent there. I think if you want to like paint yourself a narrative, you can maybe like go Najee and Chase and just say like, oh, they're getting into the red zone. Najee's bowling ball on his way into the end zone, and now like they're playing catch up. I will say that I think Raheem Mostert offers like a ton of upside, just because of the fact that the Steelers' run defense is just terrible, and Mostert is competent. So I'm definitely trying to grab some Mostert if I miss out on Kamara, just because I've seen the Steelers' run defense just get gashed over and over. And I don't think that he's like an extremely exciting pick, but he's the second running back off the board on projection wise. But I that's like one thing that if I could like advocate for people, like just take Raheem Mostert. I think he's like 12 points walking at like
Is
minimum.
that who you're gonna need tonight?
Is he the guy you need?
Is he the guy you need? He might
You're gonna
be
need
the
him
guy.
Sunday night, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he's the guy you need tonight, then the whole the whole script is flipped.
Mostert got traded at noontime. Damn.
Yeah, Cardinals just can't stop. They're just trading for everybody.
Oh, that's
makers.
good.
No, we want Raheem Mostert.
Numi, anything to add there, or are you kind of in lockstep?
Nah, we'll keep the train moving. I'm in lockstep there. So,
one thing I was just looking at is it's interesting that Myles Gaskins suited up in week 5 and kind of worked over Chase. Like Chase had 1 carry, had 1 touch in week 5 at the Jets there. And it was Myles Gaskin who kind of worked as that like third down and that trailing back, where he had 3 catches that game. He had 4 carries and actually worked over Edmonds. But I think it might have just been garbage time because his snap counts were like quite low. And I think they just kind of fed him the ball at the end. But I don't know. Do you guys remember anything from that? I
don't remember the context, but just given the fact that like Chase has been so disappointing and like, and Gaskin sucks, but the fact that he's been there before. And
I will not stand for any UW shade on this program.
Oh God, I totally forgot. I stepped on a John landmine. Here we go.
4-time 1K rusher at the greatest setting in college football. All right, that's all I got.
the Pac-12, baby. Everyone knows. Get your Pac-12 running backs. That's why we got Keontae Ingram on here too. Go ahead. Just
hey.
Oh, another
Keontae Ingram slander on this podcast.
Oh, I'm waiting. I'm waiting, baby. Where's my points? I was promised points.
In terms of Gaskin, I don't remember that in week 5. I believe he was a healthy and active week 6, and they activated Salvin Ahmed or Ahmed.
Okay. Hey, another good UW boy. Yeah.
One little just fun thing I've been trying to track is I like to look at high value touches that Gretsch puts out, and Edmonds also he leads Mostert in actually high value touches by 1. So that's just an interesting little. I mean, obviously, yeah, we know the snaps, but and I went by a week, and he's still every time he's just been gradually staying ahead of him by just a little bit. So until we got to week 6. So
okay, what did he do in week 6 and week 4? Do you have that in terms of high value touches, one versus the other?
Yeah, in week 6 and week 4, it was 6-4 Raheem Mostert.
Okay,
6. So Raheem Mostert was 6 and Edmonds with 4.
And that was just those 2 weeks, or was that weeks?
Yep, 4 to 6. So that would have been those 3. If you want weeks 5 and 6, they're tied 2-2.
Interesting, huh? That's
I mean, it's just one little stat, but that's one little thing that when I when I pull up and look at things, I'm like, oh, that is interesting. So
well, it does bring more merit to the fact that like that Buffalo game where he scored the 2 touchdowns and he did get those high value goal line carries there. I don't even think they were goal line. I think they were like 5-yard line, like that kind of like middling green zone or whatever.
and then but then you look at their snap, but then you look at their snap percentages in tandem with that 2 versus 2, and it's 65% Mostert and 28% Edmonds. So it's like it's just
I mean, it's kind of interesting because we talk about this. I don't think this is necessarily. I mean, we talk about this all the time, but I don't think this is necessarily a 2 running back slate. I think there's certain 2 running back constructions that we can get to that are really nice. But I think with the plethora of pass catchers on this slate, I'm kind of staying in my lane with the onesie positions, and I'm treating running back and tight end as onesies this week. Do you guys kind of agree with that? Or this week, but with this slate?
For the most part.
Yeah.
I have done some Ertz Taysom just in case both the quarterbacks were hurt, because then you get that double pointage, which would have been nice, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yep.
One thing, I don't know if this was something that we knew, but Robbie's going to play 10 to 15 snaps. Apparently, they're going to try and get him involved. So I didn't know that. So
it was super limited report or whatever, but he's not in the player pool. I don't know how that affects what we're doing.
Gotcha.
I don't know how that affects us. What we're doing. I imagine they're just like, hey, Robbie, go out there and do that shit you've been doing for 8 years and run really fucking fast straight. And maybe Kyler can see you, but probably can't see over his offensive line to get it to you. Like, I kind of think that's what's going to happen. But yeah, I think it's within the realm of possibility that he does rip some snaps from, maybe Dortch, I guess.
Yeah, it would be Dortch or AJ Green, whoever's playing on the outside. And they'll probably just have him run some 9 routes, just give him some conditioning.
Yeah. Yeah, and then these guys bring it up that Sony Michel was there too. Yeah, this backfield's been a pain. But the high value touches is very interesting because now I do have a little inclination to mix in a little bit of Chase. Just in case he falls into the end zone with that late round 4 kind of guy. Yeah.
Yeah, you put that around a team that's just one piece different than anyone else, and then that's your, you know what I mean, like. You have that's your 1v1 swap, and like if he just scores more, like I don't know, that's the thing to get different in these contests is like you most likely got to get that one tiny little piece that is going to boost you up, like the leaderboard versus.
Am I talking myself into Chase right now? Like I'm going like, oh yeah, they've been gashed by the run and they're 7-point favorites at home, and like
it's going to be Sony Michel and Myles Gaskin.
Well, Sony Michel is a Charger, but
oh yeah.
No, the one thing I've been doing is like I said at the beginning, I've been prioritizing Connor, and Connor's there so late. You get that late swap option because he plays tonight, and Chase is usually the only running back that's left. So if Connor doesn't go, and it might swap to if he's available, but if not, then you get the Chase Edmonds swap.
Yeah, not a terrible consolation prize there.
Yeah. I like that line of thinking. All right, I know Nez has a hard out here, so let's jump in one. Let's jump in one while at least he's still present on the screen.
Please.
And then maybe we'll switch it up for the people. Maybe the chat likes a little hoops today. I don't know. I fancy myself a bit of a hoops expert now. I watched a bit of a slate yesterday. My Clippers are on the slate tonight.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, we're gonna draft Jamal Crawford again.
I thought maybe you'd be like a Trailblazers fan or something, since that's like the closest team in proximity.
Just like proximity.
No.
We used to spend so much time in LA for poker, or so much time in Vegas and then drive to LA, that it was just like we were at the Staples Center once a week kind of deal. And back then it was just cheaper to go to Clippers games, and the Lakers were really, really bad. So it was kind of like, and Kobe was hurt. So it was like, okay, we'll just go watch the Clippers over and over again.
Mm-hmm. All right, so 101. This is probably seems like Kamara for most of you guys.
This is Kamara for me. What do you guys like?
I like Hill.
Tyreek, but I wrote in my article that Kamara should be the 101.
Numi, what do you like?
I've done Kamara and Tyreek, so either one of the two. Preferably.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think we're all off quarterback, so we talked about that in length.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there is a case to be made like for Kamara being 101 just because of like his peers at the position. Doesn't seem like the range of outcomes can match him more often than not. So I have no problem with Kamara.
Okay, let's do it. I really like it with Dalton. That's kind of was my tipping point, was just the fact that like we're fairly confident we're getting Dalton tonight, and that's the tipping point for Kamara to see the same kind of workload that he's seen the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's sad that we're not going to see Winston. I want to see him just chuck the ball up a million times.
Yeah.
Fuck it, Chris Olave down there somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
I want the prayer yards, man. I want them.
I really have no idea what to expect from this game because the Saints have been getting gashed more than I would have expected them to, and the Cardinals just play like the ugliest games ever, despite like on paper always looking like they should be exciting. So I feel like this has like sneaky over potential. I think the total is like 43.5, at least where like I can get it. So I'm not sure. I feel like there's a chance that we see some points scored here just based on the way that the Saints have been playing their games. But this is two strange teams coming together tonight.
I think it's very conceivable that we see the vintage Kyler game tonight. I think it's very conceivable that we see he breaks the slate. We saw some more designed run usage last week. We saw him go for 100 on the ground, 200 in the air. If he gets a couple touchdowns last week, he's the 101 in this contest every damn time. And, if everybody's clicking his name and seeing a 30 burger beside it, I think there's definitely that path exists for Kyler to break the slate tonight. Okay, we don't have to touch quarterback. I don't know if I like Olave as much with knowing that we have Kamara. I kind of like doing something like this. What do you guys think?
I was going to say Waddle Olave or Waddle Najee. So right there.
Okay.
Yeah, this is definitely like these are like the safe picks to take. Mm-hmm. Looking ahead, are you guys thinking more Dalton or Pickett with this team?
I have yet to take Dalton.
Same.
Yeah. I get myself to take Dalton.
Yeah, it's hard.
I've been taking Pickett with the. Yeah.
He just doesn't have the same upside, I'd say.
Yeah.
And I would say the only thing that we could have considered instead of Najee would have been Deontay.
Knowing that, right?
Yeah.
But his other pass catchers will be there, like Freiermuth, Pickens, Claypool, like they should be there.
Can you imagine a primetime game of the Cardinals and Broncos? Just the battle of two just terrible offenses going up against each other. Just like imagine that like week one, everyone just prime going in, and it's just like, what did we just watch? I think it'd be funny, or like more funny to do it now.
They could turn any game into an ugly game. Denver Broncos. It's impressive. It's actually impressive.
I just really don't want to see Russ and the Broncos on another primetime game, and I know we're probably going to see at least 3 more
again.
Got to be something that we can do about that, right?
Wasn't it 4 the first 6 weeks?
Well, they can start flexing games if they're Sundays, but if they're island games like the Thursday, Mondays, they can't. But they'll flex the Sunday ones if there happens to be any more Sundays on the card.
Get them off the screen, please.
Yeah, this is interesting. Here and here still.
I wasn't gonna say it.
Yeah, I think we're pretty safe that these two aren't watching the stream.
Jack Platt's in here every day.
Oh shit!
I'm kidding. Jack Platt, if you're in here, I apologize. Didn't mean to offend you.
Yeah, this is where my mind's at. Coach of the year, baby.
All right, look at
he's in here. Come on.
Yeah, I like Ertz. Do you guys like Ertz?
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer.
Okay. And then I think we can set up. It's interesting because we have Najee to go the Pickett route. We could either set up one of these two, or we could set up this. I don't know. What's the preference here?
Callaway, wouldn't we have to take Dalton?
That's what I mean.
Right. Yeah. He was just kind of giving us options. I'm Pickens here.
You're Pickens?
Yeah.
Any objections? Silas is the guest. Silas, who do you like?
I've been mixing both Claypool and Pickens. Go Pickens.
Okay.
Pickens is a
Sounds good.
dog. He's a
okay.
dog.
Is there any merit? I just kind of wrote Rondell off there. Is there any merit to taking a 2 Arizona pass catch team and then just having like the Pickens to Najee?
I've done it. Yeah, I've done it.
Yeah, I think it's viable. I don't know if it's exactly how we'd want to build. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think if you're building a large portfolio,
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt to do that. But yeah, no, in terms of a build, like it's not something you would maybe conceive as optimal, like when you start to build it. But like I definitely can see. I mean, Ertz is going to get there with volume. Rondell can get there with just that one big play. And then I mean that.
I struggle with like questions like this because it's like, what do we like for the sake of uniqueness? It's like, am I drafting like a noob or am I like drafting like a sharp? Like what? Like it's the horseshoe theory. Like what? Like at what point is it like just like too much and you just need to just take like a well constructed lineup? I think that there's some merit to mixing in like some ugly weird lineups, but man, it just like I just feel like it might be just too galaxy brain sometimes. But
double tight end.
But I think it's possible.
Like, see, like Jack's team here. Like, this is my problem with the galaxy brain thing. Is Jack's team here? I'm never going to build that team. I don't think. I'm never going to start. I'm never going to take.
Hold on.
Did
you put Pickens or did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, because Dalton's
we're gonna end with Andy Dalton.
Oh my God. All right, guys, I gotta bounce. Silas, great talking to you. We'll definitely catch up after this. Good luck, guys. Don't draft any bad teams without me.
That's the time to draft them.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Peace, man.
See ya.
Peace out, Nez. One thing I would say in relation to Rondell, that would actually be your leverage to Kyler. So I've been thinking about it that way because if Kyler, Kyler has a rushing floor, but if he's throwing touchdowns and you have both of his pass catchers that are catching them, like you'll be able to vault up the leaderboard as long as Pickens or whoever you have at quarterback posts a similar result. So
yeah, that's a good point. I think that's kind of goes to the point that we talked about with Spags yesterday is maybe we are over correlating these. Maybe we should just be grabbing raw projection totals and being like, yeah, you know what? I got Rondell higher in ADP. I got him projected for 3 points more, and maybe I should just be grabbing him no matter what in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that philosophy. I mean, when I look through just the slates today, even with the 4 people, and like you really don't have very many big differentiators helping you to win these contests. So, it's not you want to get different in terms of increasing your first place probability and reducing your amount of dupes. But if something kind of unnecessary falls through, like there's a good chance that works for you as well.
Yeah. I'm not sure that we'd classify Rondell quite in that category of like unnecessarily fell to us. I think it's very viable that like they're only within like a point projection. So maybe that wasn't a great example, but maybe if Hopkins was there or something like that, like then it's like a no-brainer kind of deal, even though it doesn't directly correlate with the pass catch or with the passer that we're trying to set up. Right.
Yeah. Well, and like I said earlier, I mean, it's leverage off of them. So if they don't score, or if they are scoring, you're hoping that the touchdowns are condensed to them and helps you kind of move up the leaderboard.
Any preference to let's do Kamara again, but from a different position and see where we end up with, because I truly believe Kamara is I know Hill can break the slate, but I really think Kamara is the 101 in this contest.
Yeah, I don't see the other running backs having those same ceiling outcomes. So
yeah. I've seen for some reason a lot of Kamara Hills, not in mine, but just like screenshots of it. People in the Discord. They're like, yeah, I got a Kamara. You said that, Silas. You're like, I got a Kamara Hill.
Yeah, I have a Kamara Hill.
Wow.
And I think I timed out on one, accidentally take it. That might have been in one of mine that I saw that in. I timed out, took a quarterback, and of course let a guy get it. I like Waddle here, knowing that we can get Tua, right?
when he doesn't go quarterback on the end, I think it's kind of crazy for us not to go Waddle Tua.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you can also paint the narrative of being like, okay, we punt quarterback and we go Kamara Olave, but I think Kamara Olave is going to be a lot more easily obtained than Kamara Waddle Tua, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be my thought. Because
I think Tua here for sure. Yeah.
Because I think the natural progression of these boards is Kyler, Kamara, and Hill in kind of any order here. But if Hill happens to fall to 3, I think he almost always gets paired with Tua. And if he doesn't, I think the person in the 2 hole always takes Tua on the way back, right? So I think it's pretty rare that you get Tua in the 3rd at all in this contest so far. That's kind of been what I've been seeing.
Yeah, I've usually seen if Tyreek falls to 3, it's a quick tap of Tyreek Tua or Tua and Waddle.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So what are we thinking here, depending on his next pick? If
double tight end. He fucked us, boys.
What are you guys doing with Deontay sitting here? Are you taking him?
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
I think it's the optimal run back in this build so far.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Mostert makes as much sense. He might be a better raw projection, but he doesn't make as much sense in this this construction.
I agree with you there.
Can you pull up the board for a second? Because I want to.
Yeah.
So he is Tyreek, Najee, Ertz. So he doesn't have any of the New Orleans pass catchers, but goes to Taysom Hill. Because I've been trying to do something like that, but pair him with the New Orleans pass catchers, just in case he becomes the quarterback.
Now we're kind of in this weird spot here. Do you guys like Eno or Connor?
Connor.
I think it's a Connor. Okay.
Yeah, I like Connor.
I think it's weird because he can't take running back, so he can't take running back or tight end, and I think we were in a spot where we wanted only running back or tight end. I don't think we want another Pittsburgh pass catcher in this build the way that we are intending to win this slate. You know what I mean? Like adding another Pittsburgh pass catcher here doesn't really make sense. We could have maybe added like Sherfield and got like weird with it, but I think now we can also get a little weird and get Gesicki here. What do you guys think about that? Yeah.
He's playing that big slot role. The only way you would play Freiermuth as the double bring back would be Waddle catches 2 touchdowns and he goes for like 180.
Right.
Which is entirely in his range of outcomes, but it needs to be pretty condensed to Waddle, and then Pittsburgh's just playing catch up. So you have the dump offs to Deontay and Freiermuth.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and then here Chad brings up the point that T-Box couldn't take RB either, so we get that Eno swap. That's really sharp. That's something that we didn't mention there, but that's something that next level looking at the board, just to be hyper aware of that is going to turn into Eno for us. So I mean, we just got ourselves a mini stack of both RB1s on either side of that first game, and then we got all the pass catchers in the second game kind of thing. So that's fun.
Yeah.
We got thoughts on Kamara Mostert start from the 2 slot. I mean, I don't hate it, but you're setting up yourself for then the trailing game script with Kenny Pickett, basically, right? Or you're going trailing script with New Orleans and loading up New Orleans pass catchers with Kamara, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I guess you're kind of going for that anyway. Because if you're picking Mostert in the second round, you're kind of hoping that he's scoring the touchdowns on the ground, getting about 100 yards and touching the ball 20, 25 times. So you're hoping it keeps the ball out of Hill and Waddle's hands. So I really don't hate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who's your guys' second RB on this slate? I think we've established Kamara. Nez said it was Mostert. Are you guys in lockstep with Mostert, or are you guys somewhere else?
Personally,
I'm with Mostert. Yeah.
Personally, I'm Najee, just because I think they'll try to lean on him a little bit heavier, and I don't think they'll trust Warren in as much situations, even if they're because we've seen Najee have that pass catching role. But if it was health related, it would probably be James Conner.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of like that call too. Yeah, by the sounds of this, biggest takeaway right now, Silas, is you think the biggest leverage on the slate right now is the fact that James Conner has this 5 projection and he's at the bottom and he's sometimes going in the 5th or 6th round.
If he plays, I think he gets the full workload and he's a 3-down back, so you cannot beat that in the 5th and 6th round.
Yeah, and he's also the best goal line back in football for the last 3 years. So, I mean, that's something that they've been missing in the red zone, and inability to score, right? Hey, look at this nice natural light coming in here. I'm not red anymore, gentlemen. Look at this West Coast sunrise coming in. Here we go. You guys got time for one more there, or do we want to do a hoops one, or do we want to, Silas, I don't know your schedule here. What do you got?
I'm currently working, so I'm on the computer, so it doesn't matter. I'm on the clock.
Love it. Okay, well let's do one more of those, and then let's maybe just mix in a hoops for the people, because this is a fun day to be on Underdog, guys, because we got hoops for days, we got all these Sunday contests to fill, and then we also got 1 game baseball, and we got 12 game hockey slate, and then if you're a sicko like me, you're mixing in a little bit of the old PGA over here too, right? I mean, dude, you could spend your whole day on Underdog today and not even
I will.
Yeah. There you go.
What do you mean
There
could?
you go. Yeah.
This is could stuff.
This is what, the 27th or 26th or 27th time that we've had all 4 sports on one day.
Yeah, that's great.
I love it. I mean, you got to take advantage of it when you can, right? Like
Yeah.
the NFL is not on, and this is literally the only time you can get all 4 major sports. I love it.
But I think I really got to get more involved in, like, I'm definitely, like, I undersell how much of a basketball guy I am. Like, I definitely watch hoops and I definitely follow and stuff like that, but I don't necessarily play these contests. I think I'm going to have to do a little deep dive, and we're going to have to, reach out to some more basketball, because the rate at which those contests are filling have been like,
oh, they're all, yeah.
Oh my God. Like
the hoops demand is insane, man.
Yeah. Like, I mean, we have a 2-gamer tonight that is nowhere near knowing who's active, who's whatever at 10 a.m. Pacific right now. For me, the games are still 8 hours away, and there's 4,400 people ready. There's 3,400 people already in this contest, right?
That's
like, this is wild.
They're that it got to like 85 or something like that. Their hoops after dark was 2K to first. It's bigger than any of our MLB or anything. So like,
we spent all summer trying to grind those MLBs and trying to get 25 people in the $100 contest.
Yeah.
I'm waiting in lobbies by myself in the $100 contest.
Dude, I think they releasing a $100 NBA would be awesome. Like,
that'd be
the
a good
same
one
style
too.
concept. But yeah, I think it's
third time's the charm.
Run it back. Yeah, I know.
Going back to the well.
I'm sorry, we're not going to get weird for the stream to sacrifice Kamara here.
It's interesting to note that Freezer's on Hill at the first pick. Now, what I've said about that, where we don't know where his portfolio's at and we can't read too much into one draft, blah, blah, blah.
He swaps his rankings when he's like, he looks and he has enough of someone, and then he'll just, swap.
Yeah, maybe. Over, okay, who do we like here? We've kind of gone Waddle multiple times here. We could take Tua away from him.
That's so hard to do, like, to sacrifice both Waddle and Tua and give him the Tyreek to a Waddle stack would be hard. But I kind of want to do something different and do like Olave.
Okay, fine. We're giving it to him. I hate you guys. I would not have done that.
Yeah.
You want to get different? Let's get different. And I would be
yeah.
trying to do something where you put Taysom in at tight end.
And Freezer's just gonna
I knew
he's doing 50,000 drafts, so he's waiting. All of a sudden, he's like, "Oh, that one's at 13." He clicked it.
Oh,
he
finally got that. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna set up Taysom, and then so that means we're gonna have Pickett at quarterback.
Yes.
Which means we want Deontay here, but then we're right.
Yeah.
Or we could do Ertz and go double tight end.
Up to you, but it doesn't matter either
way. We still can do it with.
I think one of them go, but the whole point is you're trying to get different in terms of gaining the entire New Orleans Saints team
with Taysom as a pass catcher. And we got fucked.
We got rugged.
Yeah. Okay, now I think
Now you go Ertz, right?
I guess. I mean, it's
gotta go
kind of
Ertz,
gross.
and then-
It's kind of gross to give him a triple with Nashi. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'd rather
Okay.
get. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
Take
I don't
Najee.
want to get a triple with Najee.
This,
I think
this just means that Tua is getting knocked out early. Miami can't move the football in Pittsburgh routes.
Knocked out early, as
Yeah.
in hello, sir.
yeah. So now he's gonna take this, or at least he should, and then I don't know. We're gonna end up with a triple on the Pittsburgh side, and one of them's a running back. Yeah, you guys really fucked this by saying Chris Olave in the second. God damn, I would never.
Sorry, Chad.
You said you
I
wanted
would
to get
never.
different. That's the only
I
time
did want to
this-
get different. I didn't want to get stupid. Nah, it's funny because like these lineups still have a chance, right? You all absolutely still have a chance.
When I'll be honest, and it's probably I know it's negative EV, but when I get to like my last 5, it's just like I'm just gonna start making the weirdest lineups and just hope. Like,
I think we kind of have to do this now.
That would be our leverage off the others.
Yeah, I mean it's not amazing, but I think we have to. The other thing we can do, the other thing we could do is we could take Juwan Johnson and we could make this a Dalton team. Which do you guys prefer?
Go Johnson. Let's go the New Orleans triple because it's not going to be owned.
Yeah, I think that is. I agree with that. I think we were hedging too hard if we go with the Gesicki and then go Kenny Pickett again, and then I think we just made a really bad Pittsburgh. I don't know. I think we made a bad Pittsburgh team. But if we go this way and then we just go, okay, now we got Dalton, and this is like the weird triple that nobody has especially because it has Juwan instead of having Taysom. I think we kind of created the same narrative, except for it's not Taysom throwing the touchdowns. Now it's Dalton throwing the touchdowns. So anytime you can bet on the red rifle, in my books, you just got to do it, right? That's just what I'm about.
3 and Kamara has 15 receptions. That's all we need.
Oh my goodness. All right. What do you guys say we run like 1 or 2 hoops with no research and just do it and call her a day?
Perfect.
Although we should probably redeem ourselves after that. So much pain spoon feeding Freezer the nuts.
Yeah, I've been trying to get that for I think I'm 25 drafts in and I haven't gotten it yet. So
the Waddle to a double?
Yeah.
I have one, I think.
I love having John build lineups where he's basic. He's like visibly puking through the entire. Just like I hate everything I'm doing right now. And then later I'm gonna make him show us portfolio lineups, and that's gonna be his highest scoring.
Honestly, forget him, man. Forget him. I got a Tua, Najee, Mostert, Hill, Waddle, Freiermuth. Forget him, man. Miss me with that shit, Freezer.
We just see a comment just from Freezer.
Can't wait for him to take it. Yeah, me either, Blake. And I'm going to blame these 2 idiots for the 37th consecutive slate. Freezer outsmarted us. No, we pissed down our own leg. That's what we did.
I really, really just I can't believe we didn't get Taysom. I can't believe Taysom was the first tight end off the board.
Yeah, I've seen Taysom go early a couple times now. Oh. All right, so tonight is it 4-mans? Okay, so we're going 4-mans again. There's 2 games on this slate. We got Milwaukee, Philly. We got Lakers, Clippers, classic showdown at the Crypto Arena. Who is our 101?
It's Giannis for me, and then Embiid.
And then Embiid. Silas, you're in lockstep with that?
Sure. I'm
Silas,
not a basketball guy.
You're not a hoops guy?
I try to stay away from the other contests because I usually am paying the rake. So
all right, well.
See ya.
Although I can say I played NBA the last 2 days. I have returned like 10% ROI. but I've
Let's go. He's printing. You're basically a sharp. 10%.
Oh yeah, yeah.
$3.
Awesome.
Actually, I really wanted the screenshot of last night. The team we drafted with Spags was in 69th place with I think 10 minutes left or something. And I just wanted that sweet 69th place with after Spags told us all those disgusting stories yesterday.
That would have been right.
That was so funny about Kelly Olynyk.
Oh God. Never again.
You should know when you bring
Spags
R-rated.
from any time. He's always good for a good laugh and insight. It's the perfect combination. What's the minutes looking like for the Clippers tonight? Like, are we expecting restricted Kawhi? Are we respected?
Yeah, Kawhi is expected around there. At least decide I have him as around 30. And then everyone else a little below 30. Paul George at 34.
Ooh, that would have been nice to get hard in there.
Yeah, for me it's Kawhi here, just for the fact that I've done a bunch of teams and I have Giannis, and it's always Kawhi here. And I just feel like the upside of Kawhi, I know, the upside of Kawhi even in 28 minutes it's not. And then then you're making him have to select between Drew Holiday and more Bucks. So that's my thought.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. The interesting thought about the Kawhi narrative is we can just look no further than yesterday or 2 days ago with the Steph one, right? We were like, oh, Steph's going to be on minutes restriction, blah, blah, blah. And then he just comes up and he puts up damn near 50 points in Underdog, right? It was like 49 and something. And he was on minutes restriction, right?
Maxi.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would either be Russell or Maxi for me.
Do we have any fear with the Maxi plus Embiid correlation?
No, I don't.
No,
but I mean, it's up to you guys. I would go maybe Westbrook here, but I definitely mix in Maxi a little bit.
We like Russ.
Okay, yeah, let's get Russ to just shoot the lights out against Kawhi.
He doesn't even have to do that. He just needs to be Russ and get 12 boards, 12 assists, 9 points, a steal, and that's all we need from a third round Russ. We don't even. He could miss every shot out there and brick them like he does. I
think Reggie Jackson's kind of sneaky tonight. No, he was really good down the stretch of last year, and then I think John Wall might be limited. No, do you think they're going to come out and showcase John Wall?
It's tough. I mean, yeah, they have him. I don't know who's going to be. We haven't got the starting lineup yet. I don't know if it's still going to be Wall or Reggie Jackson. So, you know what I mean? The site I have him as is Reggie Jackson's 28 minutes to Wall's 20, which would, indicate they have Jackson starting.
I don't even need projections, man. I'm a fucking sharp in the NBA streets. I'm an absolute sharp for deciphering that without even looking at a model, man. The model's up here.
I think Wall definitely starts tonight, but they'll probably rotate in whatever his name is.
Jackson. They got a lot of depth. They're going to be running a 1, 2, 3.
I know Jackson was heavily involved last year, but that was without Paul George and Kawhi, so they needed somebody.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, and I know he's questionable or probable. Jackson was, at least on the thing. I'm trying to find him.
Probable for Thursday,
it just popped up.
To this. Yeah. It just popped up 16 hours ago.
Yeah, that's what I was. I saw the Underdog tweet.
Okay, who do you guys like?
Zubats.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure. I like
this guy once.
I like how I just got an NBA underdog alert about Zubac for sure, about Kawhi. Kawhi could play off the bench to start the season in order to manage his minutes.
Hey, let this be a lesson why the push notifications are on. Because if we turned the time loop back 30 seconds and we got that notification, we don't take Kawhi. So let that be a lesson as why you guys should always have the push notifications on.
Kawhi coming off the bench, if they take Paul George off the floor and it's just Kawhi, it's going to be Kawhi's ball.
People have been telling me a lot of nice things about this Kendrick Nunn guy. Should we get that guy, or we got we got 2 Clippers right now. Where else can we look here?
I guess you play it with Marcus Morris because he's probably going to see a snapping if Kawhi's out. But that's not what we want.
Morris.
I don't really know.
I think Beverly might be the play in Heinz, even with Westbrook, but that's okay. Just going off pure project, but I mean Morris is going to get his time.
Yeah, Brett Boy making the sharp choice there.
Yeah, our team chemistry is not going to get that. Yeah, the Reggie Jackson was probably the pick but
we got 3 Clippers guys.
that's fine.
All right.
If you think about it, the Clippers have the highest total on the slate, and the defense for the Lakers is just atrocious. So like,
okay.
And if they're going to be managing Kawhi's minutes, there's going to be more minutes for these like quote unquote role players, bench guys. But like these guys can score. Reggie Jackson, Norman Powell, like they got game.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be putting Batum out there for a little bit too, and watch him come out. It's really who has the hot hand. I mean, for Christ's sake, like Bam was shooting 1 for 10 at one point. It's like if he just gets 5 of those to go, his whole like outlook changes, and he's not putting up like a 20 burger. He's putting up like 40 because he's rolling and he's part of the offense. It's just yeah, basketball's a.
Can Grayson Allen still shoot it or what?
Yeah.
I
like Allen here for sure because we don't have a buck, do we?
No, we don't have a buck.
Do we think Serge Ibaka plays?
I think he plays a little bit. They have him a rotation or 2.
Okay.
I don't even see him. Did I miss him? Where is he? He's not even in there.
It's really tough with the Bucks. I'm not gonna lie.
He's projected for a 0. Look at this leverage. Projected for a 0. Nobody's gonna be drafting him. Galaxy brain leverage. We're trying to win a GPP here, boys. Okay, who do you like?
I mean, I like Grayson Allen here, but if you want to go pure, so here's what I'm saying. If you want to go just that leverage, Grayson Allen's projected for 30 minutes, 18 points. Ibaka's 15 minutes, 12 points. So if we just play he's going to get more minutes than he is, he's you know what I mean? He has it, but that's what you got to play it as.
I get what you're saying.
I don't mean you said it that leverage. We're gonna
fucking
go.
Surge. We're playing Surge. That's a
Surge
good fool for Raptor.
That's two drafts we gave people first place.
Hey, if Grayson Allen is the skeleton key, then Christ.
There you go.
All right.
We can clip it and just show everybody that we gave everybody first place. Like you draft with us, it's plus EP.
Yeah.
It's tough because like we don't know, like we can go off of last year's rotations, but like half of these guys weren't playing for these teams. Like they're with new teams, so it's just so tough. We're just going off of that, and it's kind of like we're going off that and Nez takes. Just go off your straight takes, man.
You'll love to see it. You love to see it. Just trust the projection models. Oh, Chad got his way in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right. Last draft guaranteed. No matter what, even if there's a fire.
Last draft.
Yeah, I was fire. So I think we just go Embiid here again. There's nothing that you can't really. I don't know.
No, Chad likes Embiid today. Chad was telling me he likes Embiid more than Giannis.
I mean, yeah, I can see the case, but Giannis is just a.
I'm kidding, man.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's a little secret DM with Chad. You guys are just these basketball sharps.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we just gave Brett Boy the first place.
Couldn't you say just leverage and just say LeBron should be number 2 over Embiid? Like you're just hoping that game's a lower pace because it's good defense, and then the the Lakers Clippers game shoots out.
Give us that.
You could. I just feel like you then give.
Your sacrifice.
You give that guy in the 3-hole Embiid, and it's like that guy's sitting there like, whoa, and like the Lakers.
This is why I don't play NBA, because you just basically need to play the optimal. Like you play the optimal. Yeah,
you need to play it, and like you just need to. Yeah, you need to play the optimal and just have like 1 to 2 pivots basically, and that's it's and especially in like these smaller field contests, like. The ideal thing would be to somehow get Paul George. Like, you're just hoping to get. Yeah, it doesn't happen. So,
right. Okay. So are we off with Kawhi now?
Kawhi now. Yeah, I think we go Drew.
Yeah, and we didn't get any Bucks run back in that first one.
I still like Kawhi even with the bench narrative. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no,
I mean coming off the bench, like I don't know. That could even.
Yeah, I don't know.
He takes him. That's so nice.
Yeah,
Maxey for sure.
Guys, I know me some hoops.
It would either be Maxey or Bobby Portis there.
I'm absolutely clicking on these guys before you guys even mention them.
Portis can get you there on just straight defense if he's just a menace.
Yeah, but
And he
he's
just
going
picks
up
up those
against
shots.
Embiid.
Well,
7 points
that's-
higher than
that's-
LeBron on Fantasy
That's
Labs.
that's ideal because like we don't get negative points for anyone going against you, and if he's going to be on the court,
Yeah.
for Embiid, we just got to hope he doesn't get into foul trouble.
Yeah, but we're hoping
when,
Embiid ruins him in the defensive as well. Like we're hoping he gets some blocks and Bobby Portis.
That's true. Well, it doesn't have to just be Portis getting blood. That's the tough part. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, I totally get you that like playing the centers against each other, but it's just like, yeah, I don't know, because Portis should step out and bang threes. Like he's got range, and he's that scrappy guy. So like these scrappy guys on Underdog and FanDuel are just pristine. Yeah. So
Reggie.
Yep.
Can we wait and get Reggie because he took Kawhi?
I think he takes Reggie with him, but that's just me.
Okay. Sounds good. I like Reggie. Reggie can fill it up sometimes.
And then after, we just gotta
Reggie's
hope
a
he
poor
doesn't.
man's J.R. Smith.
Let's,
I got comps for days, boys.
dude.
Comps
J.R.
for
Smith.
days.
Freaking. Oh, and he takes P-Bev. He always takes the guy
I was
last.
fine with
just to troll.
Pivo. I want Powell, and you're playing leverage off Kawhi and Paul George that their minutes are reduced.
What a play. This is why Silas is on the show. He's giving me these narratives that I can believe in. He's giving me these narratives I can believe in. Now we got leverage. He says the word leverage and then mentions like a couple of little anecdotal shit about minutes. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking clicking that guy. Silas has got me. He's got me for the click. You know, Noomies, give me a sell. Sell me this pen one time. Sell me this pen. Who's my
Paul
next
George
guy?
is not going to be limited, so that's what I'll tell you. Paul George will not be limited tonight. Yeah,
It's all right.
I mean,
Paul George is a small forward. Powell's a shooting guard. We're good.
There you go.
So we got Embiid, Holiday, Maxey,
Reggie
Jackson, and
Norm
Powell.
Powell. Yeah.
We need a Laker, don't we? Or we don't need a Laker,
We
but
can just play. They suck. That narrative.
yeah, it works
I
too.
forgot the Clippers had Covington.
I just
too.
think
This
we
Clippers team's
might.
good.
I think we might go Grayson.
Yeah. We didn't take him last time. He might just be like the one pure scorer left on the slate, right?
Yeah, I think it's Grayson here. We did the Ibaka thing, like.
Embiid.
Can Wesley Matthews still play ball?
Yeah,
Barely.
he's coming off of I forget. Coming back, so I don't even know if they have him projected. Let's see here. 20 minutes and 8 fantasy points. That is tough.
All threes.
So-
So what? 2 threes?
Yeah, that's basically going to be him, and then pull back the sniper.
Yeah. He was good for a bit there with the Blazers, right?
it's
he
tough
had,
with these-
He had a window of time that he was really good, right?
Yeah, these 2 games are tough. Like this is where I can say, you can take your stand, like you can take your stand and just say like to basically go in whatever model you have or don't do it and just say I'm going to bump up minutes here, and then that puts projections in different. Like if you can just say. Just think we don't know what's going to happen. I think this guy's going to get more minutes. This guy might fall out. Like you can play those narratives, change your projections that way, and then that's how you can draft. Like that's kind of like how I sometimes play with basketball. Is like especially with the uncertainty right now of like we don't know what's going to go on. So yeah.
No, I tend to agree with that for sure. I mean, I'm just feeling my way through these ones. I don't know. I don't know. I think hoops is the most projectable sport, but it's also the sport that you have to be most dialed on like the breaking news and like constantly tracking like sources that you trust for that sort of thing. I think that's the leverage. But I think it's like Silas said, you're always chasing the optimal. Like it does feel a lot like cash game DFS build where it's like I'm just chasing raw points and the optimal because those correlation patterns don't necessarily exist in the same regard that like football, we can paint a narrative, and that's why there's so much variance in football. We can paint a narrative that it's Gesicki who scores the 2 touchdowns and not Tyreek Hill, and then the optimal is Tua plus Gesicki, but then you needed Kamara on one side and you needed Hopkins on the other side, and then like you could paint these different narratives. Hoops feels
just
a little
good
different than that.
It's good to know that when you look at the winning lineup, it's like that was easily attainable. Like it was all of it was in line with ADP. Like it was the winning lineup was just super attainable. So that's the one thing I like. Whereas you look at some of these other contests, it's just like, God, like you needed Deion Jackson. Are we kidding me right now? Like we needed Deion Jackson. I needed to just draft my lineup Sunday morning. Like,
you're turning it into Nez on me. Come on, you're playing it safe, bro.
Yeah,
No,
Dion
man.
was a good play.
Hey, I straight last night, man. I went Chaz McCormick and freaking Jeremy Pena, and then a guy against my
I have
pitcher.
that galaxy brain shit. I looked at that lineup and I was like, I can't even endorse this, but he won. Nah, it was
Hey,
good.
I got boxed into, it was 4-man thing, so I got boxed into like I had to take a guy against my pitcher with Verlander. I'm like, well, might as well be Stanton, and yeah, so
There you
we'll
go.
take it. You know, dude, I had a lineup with Maldonado, McCormick, Pena, and Gurriel.
Yeah,
And they
it's kinda
all
gross.
got, and I just didn't
It
have
didn't
the
win?
other.
Kinda gross.
No, I mean, the funny thing about that contest, and I'll say, is like I was in for after each home run, after the Gurriel, and then McCormick, and then Rizzo, or then Pena, and then Rizzo. Each time I was in first, and I'm like, God damn it! And I looked, and a new lineup appeared on first of one of mine. I'm like, let's go.
Oh, that's so nasty. You just had all the
appearing.
combos. Wow.
I was like, I think I might. I was like, so Pena hit that. I'm just sitting here like, oh. And I'm waiting. I was tied for first in the other one, and I'm like, that one updated. I was like, does this one not update yet? And it was just a brand new lineup. I'm like, let's go one time. So we'll take it.
Me. Hey,
no one cares about my lineups.
Nobody cares about your lineup.
All right. Well, guess what? I'll see myself out. All right. Peace.
All right, guys. Good show. Silas, thank you for bringing the expertise for the Thursday night, Sunday night contest. That was a lot of fun. We'll definitely have you back another time, break down these slates with you. You're putting in a lot of work at Spike Week, writing up those columns. And as I said before, like just so much valuable info there. So go read that on Spike Week, go read his work, and start thinking about these games a little differently. He's giving you guys a little different perspective, and they're different than any other showdown content that you will read, because that's all catered to DFS, and his is specifically catered to this contest. So it's well worth your time. Follow Silas Jackson 15 on the Twitterverse, like and subscribe. And anything else to add?
No, I just appreciate you guys having me on, and yeah, look for my articles 3 times a week. We're trying to get into like a more of a routine with Underdog since they've been changing their contests around. But those should be dropping pretty much earlier in the week now. Feel free to send me messages on DMs. More than happy to help people out. Join the Discord at Spike Week, and yeah, hopefully we all win.
Sounds great. Good luck, everybody, tonight. We got Mark back tomorrow. We're going to do the full main slate breakdown, maybe mix in a couple other sports there at the end. I don't think he wants to. He's a hoops guy, though. He's a hoops guy, but maybe we'll twist his arm. I like doing these multi-sport, and it gets me excited. I don't know why. It just like gives you like fresh blood. Like, oh, a new contest. Here we go.
New thing. Yeah, when you're drafting the same style contest, I will say it's fun. It's fun. It's a little change up. You're not having to do the same thing. So little different game theory in each one.
Yeah, appreciate that, Robert. And subscribe, follow. Thank you all for being here. We'll be back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. We got some special guests coming. We were hoping for this week, but we got a very special guest coming next week. A very special guest writes a very important article that everybody subscribes to and reads every single week. It's basically a novel. Some have said it's a novel, and some say it's about noise or signals or something. It's stealing or theft of noise, I don't know, something like that. I don't know. I can't quite remember on the spot right now. Anyways, everybody's favorite time of the show, the end.